We'll call a public service meeting to get ordered. Please stand for pledges of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3, adoption the agenda. Motion, please.
The agenda.
Support Zinner.
Motion by Romano, supported by Zinner. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Item number 4, the approval of the minutes of April the 3rd, please. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Grot, supported by Bueno. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next item 5, this is public participation. Anyone from the public wish to speak on anything on the agenda? We'll have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to speak on any topic of your wish. Anyone from the public? From the public, we'll close public participation. Item number 6, this is Public Works Award-winning sewer inspection program, combining artificial intelligence and underground drone technology. Motion to receive and file, Ms. Miller.
Motion to receive and file.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and all the commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about our award-winning drone here and a couple of different items that we have here that are really very much on the leading edge of what's going on. So much on the leading edge in our industry and the underground industry that not only did we win this particular award, and you all graciously asked us to come and tell you what the award was about, but next week we're going to be winning the award for what they call the Technology Project of the Year from the American Public Works Association. And this is really true. Just today, NBC News called, and they want to do so Vince is going to be a Hollywood star there on the news. He gets to talk to NBC about it. But anyway, as you all know, I guess we have our PowerPoint going. I don't know who's flipping through it here, but anyway, everybody remembers the sinkhole that we had on 15 Mile Road. I certainly do. That happened, as you know, several days before I took office. And once that was completed, as a project, one of the things that we learned from that, obviously, is that we needed to do a better job of inspection. And so we started, we have an incredibly comprehensive inspection program now for all of our underground. And of course, we've now developed an asset management as well for all of our assets. But one of the things that you find when you inspect, it's amazing what you can find. Let me put it that way. It's amazing what you can find when you inspect. So it is really important. But all of this inspection, which helps us to put our capital improvements programs together, et cetera, is very expensive. It costs us literally millions of dollars to have the engineers, to go through the inspection program, to have all of the information that the inspectors gather, and then understand what it all means, and then how does it work for us. So we have some really very excellent staff, some of our engineers, and many of you sit on the drain boards with us. You've had an opportunity to talk to Vince and his team, or Steve Downing, or Jeff Bednar, or any of our engineer guys. And they said, there's got to be a better way to do this by using technology. And Vince is going to run through this. I don't want to steal his thunder, but essentially what you're going to see here is a drone that literally will fly. Where's our captain? Captain Zach. We even gave him a hat. And this was pretty much done in-house, really. I mean, much of it was done in-house. But we essentially have developed a program. Well, of course, we had to purchase the drone in that, but this is a sewer AI, sewer artificial intelligence. So we literally are flying a drone through our large interceptors. And in the drone, and you'll be able to see here that Vince has got sort of the type of thing that we would used to be able to see, what the camera used to show us, which looks like something out of the Twilight Zone, and then the kind of information and clarity that we are getting now with this drone, which really allows for us to understand what's happening, the integrity of the pipes, what has to happen. But they take all the information from the drone and they are running it through a sewer AI software package, where it used to take us 6-9 months to get the information. Literally in about 24 to 48 hours, we've got everything, and it's better. And I will just tell you, in the first year that we started using this, which has been about a year, I guess I would say in the first several months, we saved about $4 million because we had thought that there was a part of the pipe where the integrity was so bad we were getting ready to, rehabilitate it. But as we really looked at this thing, we now realize that we didn't have to do that, so it wasn't such an immediate need. And we felt very comfortable putting it on the back burner while we really addressed some of the other things. So besides the amount of fees that we can save from our consulting engineers for doing this kind of work, so we're very excited about it. And this is Vince Astorino. As I say, most of you know Vince, and it's all yours.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So during the sinkhole, we set up a very extensive inspection program throughout all of our assets around the county. This consisted of annual inspections, which is about 11,000 feet every year. We have pipes that cross underneath the Clinton River Spillway, I-94, other major drains throughout the county. And if we were to have an issue at those locations, it could be catastrophic. So those are kind of an annual thing. We go out there, keep an eye on the pipe, make sure everything's good. And then we also set up 2 other windows, a 3-year window for like the pipe that went along 15 Mile was a non-reinforced concrete pipe. So there's no rebar in it. So if something was to happen, it's going to happen a lot faster. And then our other window is a 6-year window with, other reinforced concrete pipe, kind of newer pipe throughout the system. So we're kind of cycling through that rotation yearly, and then every 3 years we have a plan going. So, I have some within the presentation here. 2017 we did about 97,000 feet. 2020 we did 144,000 feet. 2023 126,000 feet, and then the next big program is going to be in 2026. So as we were going through that, like Candace said, we all thought there has to be a better way to do this, a cheaper way, a more accurate way to do it, where us as engineers can get better data. So the first thing that we found was the drone. The drone was purchased from a company called Flybotics. It has 4K video quality on it. It has 40K lumens lighting. So you'll see here in a second, once we throw it into 12-foot diameter sewer, it is extremely lit up. You can see everything. That was one of the issues we were having with our contractors that were doing. It was very dark, grimy. You couldn't tell what was wrong with the pipe. It has LiDAR scanning. So it's going in and actually creating like a point cloud within the pipe, and we can create 3D models from that and actually bring that in and use that for design projects moving forward. It has a 20-minute flight time. That was a big thing for us. We looked at a few different companies, and that had the longest flight time out of all the ones that we looked at. We needed to be able to fly about a 1,000-foot section safely, and that 20-minute flight time gave us that ability. And then it also has a nice protective cage on it. There's changing air pressures within sewers, and you can bump up against a wall, and it protects the drone. So this video is a nice little comparison video showing this is the old traditional style CCTV, closed circuit television inspection footage within a 12-foot diameter pipe. This is the type of footage that we used to get back to us, and we would have to make engineering decisions on, is the pipe good or is it not? Do we need to make repairs or not? We put the drone into the same reach of pipe, and there's a huge difference between the two. I can see every single defect, you name it. I can see it all. So it is, it's quite the difference here. It flies higher up, so you get a better vantage point as well, rather than being on the bottom of the sewer like you can see here. This is further down that same section of pipe. And then you can see the difference with the drone. I can see every little tiny crack within this pipe. I can tell that this pipe's in great shape. So, and then you can see a little picture-in-picture image there of the drone flying. We had someone actually walking behind for this footage. This was in a smaller pipe. This was in a 54-inch pipe. This is one of the smaller ones that we've flown it through to this point. That was the traditional, and then this is the drone. This was one of those instances that we were told that the pipe was in horrible shape. We had to go out and replace it right away. Once we flew the drone through it, we were able to tell that there were more kind of manufacturing defects within the pipe and just small patchwork needed to be done. That was it. So the concrete pipe itself was in great shape. And we couldn't tell that from the original inspection footage. Once we had the drone going, we then kind of took another step, as the drone doesn't work everywhere. So we wanted another piece of equipment that we could use to get into lines that had a lot of flow in them, that we didn't feel comfortable flying the drone. So our staff actually developed and designed what we call now as the GoFlow. So it's basically a floating rig. Think of it like a buoy that you just put into the sewer. The sewage flow actually moves down the line. There's a light ring around the top, and then there's a GoPro 360 camera on top. So it is constantly recording footage, and then further down the line, someone else just grabs it and pulls it up, and we look at that footage, and we can analyze that data. It also has we developed a self-writing capability. We had instances where we'd have different connections coming into the pipe, and it could flip over. So we actually made it to where if it does flip over, it self-writes itself, and it will just keep going. So here's some footage. On the left side, you see the traditional inspection footage. Very slow, takes a long time to get through. It's a crawler system that actually goes down in the pipe, and it's tethered back to a truck up above ground. The GoFlow, we can actually just set it in the flow, and it goes with the flow. It's kind of goes with the name. Nice thing is, what I'm showing you here is just the post-process footage directly from GoPro. And not only is it 360, so we can stop at any point. I can zoom into defects. I can turn it around. I can look at anywhere that I want. One major issue that we had was a contractor would go through, and they're only looking at specific points. It was all the time we would always back up or say, I wish you looked at this one section a little bit better. Now we can do it because we have full 360-degree footage within every one of the lines that we use that system. That line also, it's about a 750-foot line. We were able to inspect it in about 4 minutes. It's really just goes off how fast the water moves and how fast that will float through it compared to the other system, which would take quite a bit of time. So what do we do with all this data? So we have gigabytes and gigabytes of data coming in with all this 4K footage that we have. We found a program called Sewer AI. It's a cloud-based program, and it ingests all of this live video footage, and will actually use AI to code any defects that it finds within the pipe. There's a traditional standard across the nation that everyone uses, and it uses that same system so that way everyone's on the same page and coding things correctly. And this does it automatically with AI, and then it has staff that goes through and verifies that everything was done correctly. We did a lot of testing before we actually started officially using the software, where we input video footage that we had coding from contractors. And every single time that we did it, the AI found more defects than the contractor found. Every single time. It didn't miss anything. It was very accurate. So, and we've been using it ever since that point. Another nice thing is that we can bring in all of our historical footage, and we can run comparisons from year to year and see how the pipes are degrading, see what's going on, look back to 2017 footage or 2023 or whatever we want, and There's also GIS integration as well. So mapping our sewer maps that are all laid out. We can then click on a section of pipe and it will bring up all of that inspection footage that was done for that one segment of pipe. Another nice thing that this program does is as you inspect manholes, or even we're working with them on creating it creates 3D models for manhole inspections. It creates 3D models for pipes. We've been working closely with them on that and actually improving other things as well within their program. So there's a lot you can do. It's sped up our time for being able to review data. In the past, we'd get these massive reports and trying to thumb through and figure out what is actually going on. And so now there's quick sort features we can go through, find out truly what are the major defects right away, and implement programs to fix those, like immediately. So some of the things that this has done is this has saved a lot of money. Looking at just purely contractor costs, this is not even taking into account consultant fees that we've had. 2017, we were a little over $1 million for that inspection program of 97,000 feet. 2020, we were 885,000. 2023, we were 995,000 to do that inspection program. And 2026, we're estimating it to cost us $46,000 to do it ourselves. So, and get things turned around in a much quicker fashion. So, quite the savings. And time as well. I mean, a couple of these programs took years to finish, and that's just, it's not acceptable to us, and that's why we wanted to look at ways to do this faster and better. And then we got the award in here, like Candace already went through all that, so yeah, that's all I got, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to go through it.
Are we gonna have Zach?
Oh, yeah.
That zone?
Yeah, we can.
Come on up, Captain Zach. Give you a little demo here. You know, it's of note, when Vince is talking about all the contractors' costs that we have saved, as well as engineering costs and time of our staff, you know, as opposed to 9 months, 48 hours, I mean, on and on and on. This whole system costs us about $100,000, and we're saving all these millions of dollars. So this was, in a very technical terms, that's good. Yeah, do whatever you need to do, Zach.
Sounds like Zach needs a raise.
Just don't scare Goiki, okay?
You got a hat. You got a hat.
I like that.
The only candidate would be Romano.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying nothing. I'm sitting
I-
here watching. You're gonna start picking on me.
Commissioner Romano, I want you to know that this particular drone here is sort of like WMD. It might be pointed at the Red Run train by Oakland County.
I won't have
Don't
to
put
shoot
that
it
in the
down.
minutes. Don't put that in the minutes.
Boot up.
Oh, it's got to boot up. Poor Zach. Everyone's watching him. Don't get nervous.
I wasn't until you said that.
Oh, quit flashing. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Drum roll.
Oh, there you go. Terrific. It's good. Good job, Zach.
Yeah.
I told Zach's dad, I said, you know, all those hours that he spent in the basement playing video games has paid off. No, I didn't actually tell your dad that, no. You told Zach that, yeah, right. Anyway, that's our presentation. We appreciate the time. And as I say, we're delighted that we got this award. We're going to get another one next week. The one that, next week is the American Public Works Association. After we take, that's the Michigan chapter, and they're going to put it into the national queue. And we'll see how we do there. We could win the national award for Technology Project of the Year, so we'll see. Thanks so much.
We have a couple questions.
Oh, certainly.
Commissioner Hubbard.
Thank you for everything you do to save our county money and protect it. I had a coffee hour and one of your staff members came, and I can't remember his name right now, but he talked to me about the Macomb Public Works Academy. And as someone who sits up here, there's a lot that you do that I did not know about. And so for the residents in our community, I think we had about 10 or so folks interested in like going through that.
Okay.
And so we learned a lot from mucks, sinkholes, removing trees, spillways, and a lot of what you do. So it was really educational, and it's kind of cool that citizens can participate in government. And so just wanted to thank you for that and make other folks aware that that's such a great academy to go through. It's like 12 videos or something like that, maybe 11.
Yeah. It's just videos of all of the various things that we do. And, I mean, obviously it's voluntary to anyone who wanted to go through it. And then at the end, we give you a little certificate. But we've had quite a few people that have gone through it. A lot of the schools are using it in the classrooms, and, you know, different service organizations, senior groups, pretty much everybody is. We've had a lot of interest. So thank you for pointing that out.
And I'm glad you got the pink memo and any issues that we have with, any issues we have with other counties, I say we solve them by drone soccer.
There you go. I'm for that.
Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say a huge congratulations, and I'm sure all the commissioners feel the same way. It's just wonderful, and the innovation is great, and you guys just keep tinkering away and solving problems, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Appreciate that comment. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. So who designed the drone there on the left?
The
Yeah.
GoFlow?
Yeah.
So that was myself and one of my engineers.
And I gotta ask, where'd you acquire all this knowledge at? I mean, that looks like
We like tinkering,
you
and
like tinkering.
there may have been some drinks involved and playing around, so
Okay, we'll get back to the subject.
not at work, of course.
So when you get into the sewer system and you see the actual, let's say, repair sites, can you do something like I think we did it at 15 Mile Road, you put almost like a sleeve in there? Can you do that like they do a stent when you have a heart attack, they put a short stent? Can you also do that in doing the whole tunnel with a sleeve? You can also do that.
You can, and we have. We've
You have done
repaired
that.
specific areas. A lot of the tunnel work we've been doing is we identified the entire section as being a critical threat, a risk that needed to be taken care of. So, but yeah, we go in, we can repair a small 5-foot section if we need to.
So the only people I think that would object to this is the contractors who used to do it by hand or by sight. So
Correct.
thanks again. You saved us a ton of money. I know Candace will be back here for some of it, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
It's all got to balance out
Yeah,
here at the end of the year, you know?
I understand. Thank you.
Commissioner Sabatini.
That's exactly what she was thinking.
I know. Ka-ching.
No, just kudos. I mean, when I heard about the award, we reached out and said, we got to hear more about this because this is such a huge accomplishment. We have to learn from our mistakes. You took the initiative here. You were proactive. And obviously results are huge, but, we don't want a sinkhole again. We have to be proactive inspections, and you solved a huge problem that we had in the county. So kudos, and obviously the award says that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. How many other counties are you sharing this with? Or are you sharing it with
Well,
Wayne or
Vince probably could
Macomb?
answer it better than me. I don't think there's anyone else in Michigan that was doing this. We were the first in Michigan, certainly. Now, others, obviously, they're hearing about this because there's been some, some of the industry magazines and journals and that are talking about it. So others are finding, they're onto it now. Then there may have been some other places in the country, really, I don't know, but I'm telling you, there was nobody else in Michigan doing this.
So we don't have a patent from you on this.
Well, some of that might have a patent, the GoFlow, but not this one.
All right, thank you. Thank you. No other speakers? No, Commissioner Graf.
Great presentation as always. And just quick question, do you need a license to fly the drone? in the sewers?
So we put them through advanced training from the company and then the inspection coding, so he knows what he's looking for. Flying it underground is a little bit different restrictions
I
compared to
understand. That's what I
being
was,
above
I
ground.
was curious, yes.
So, no,
Okay.
is the quick answer.
All right, thank you. Good job, thank you.
Thank you.
No other
All right.
speakers? Thank you very much. Ken.
Thanks very much,
Thank you.
appreciate it. The next two items are also my items, but Don Brown, some of you might recognize him here, Deputy Don, he's going to handle the next two for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
So now we got item 7. This is a resolution 2025-13401, resolution pledging limited tax fund faith and credit for the Oakland Macomb Interceptor Drainage District bonds, SAW Loan Series 2025 refunding bonds, tax general obligation. Brian. Brian here? Are you going to speak for Brian? Thank you.
You need a motion.
Need a motion to.
Chair, I'll make a motion to go to full board.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Hall and Mr. Van Sickle.
Mr. Chairman, Board, Don Brown, Macomb County Public Works. Nice to be here before you today. As some of you may know, the state has infrastructure loans that they do, and they've done it for decades. And one of the ways they fund those infrastructure loans is they receive money often from Washington DC, or maybe the state will fund it, and they'll have a pot of money, and they'll loan it out to communities. But in order to keep that fund being perpetual, they take the interest that they charge local communities and put that interest back into the fund so they can loan it out again, and it's self-fulfilling. Well, in 2015, the MID took out a loan, and they had a very low interest rate at the time, but the environment being what it was at the time in the economy. Well, the state, over time, that pot of money now, because they let such low interest rates, is not enough to sustain that loan program. So the state of Michigan said, let's refinance those loans and get a higher interest rate for the money. So they came to the OMID, which is Macomb and Oakland County, and asked us to refinance that loan that we took out in 2015 that was at a lower interest rate for a little bit higher interest rate. But in exchange for that, they said, we're going to lower the principal that you owe us, and made it sweeter, gave us a sweetener is basically what they did. And so as a result of the transaction by us refinancing and them lowering the balance that we owe them, it's actually going to save the ratepayers of the OMID, the 12 Macomb County communities, I believe, that are in that OMID system, about $260,000. So it's essentially a wash. But we need the full faith and credit of the county to refinance these bonds, as we've done many times in the past. And it's no effect on the county, doesn't affect the county in any way, except that we want to use your full faith and credit to refinance that package. And that's it. So that's why it's before you today.
Any speakers? If not, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
We'll stay up there, Mr. Brown. Item B is a purchase MOPAC. This is a VBD 13 brush chipper for Public Works for $48,000 or $48,707,07 net of trade.
48,000?
48,000.
Motion to approve.
48 million, I won't approve.
Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, this chipper is a Michigan-made chipper, and we had one previously, but it's 21 years old. It's getting a lot of work, and especially more so since we've implemented the 50-50 match program with local communities, clearing out so many more ditches. Because when we go through and pull that woody debris out of these ditches and wherever we find them across the county, both the north and the south end, we often have to chip up that wood and chip it and use that chipper. So that chipper gets a lot of work, but it's breaking down, it's got issues. It's on its last legs, quite frankly. So what we did is we went out for bids, working with the county system, got multiple bids, and came back with this product here. It's We saved 13.5%. We got a government discount off the purchase price, 13.5% from government discount. Plus, they threw a little bit of money in for the trade-in. So between those two things, we got what we think is the best deal. And that's why we're asking for 48,000. We're not even asking the money. We're asking for approval to spend money in our drain maintenance fund. So it won't affect your general fund in any way. It's coming out of a fund they already have set up in our budget to take care of these items. And, but we want your permission to do it. So that's why we're here. So.
Any speakers? Not, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
I'd like to have a personal moment here. You know, I've missed you, all of you, and I've been a hard time, and you know, and the great staff that we've had here, and so from time to time I get a little sentimental. So I go to my drawer and I pull out these socks. They were given to me when I left the board. A picture of my commissioners, my staff here on the Board of Commissioners' faces on it. So it warms my heart occasionally when I need to pick up in the morning to remind me of this board and all the good feelings that are left here. So
Keep on
I
walking on
appreciate
it,
it.
Don.
They're down on your
Yeah.
shorts.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Romano.
We need a motion.
Nice presentation, Donald.
Did you have a motion?
We already passed the motion.
Don't wear them during budget time, please.
All right. Item 7C, this is a contract advancing Macomb Foundation, contracted services of $100,000. Vicki, can you explain that? Why?
You need a motion.
We need a motion to refer to full board.
Support.
Commissioner Lucido and Commissioner Howard. Vicki.
Great, thank you, Commissioners. So what you received was the scope of work for the 2025 Advancing Macomb contract. This will be the second year that we've been working really closely with this nonprofit. Last year, they did receive about $50,000. It really was a pilot for us to determine, how we can work with this organization to really enhance and grow our nonprofit community. This year, they did receive $100,000 through this board, and then our department helps administer that grant and ensure that the scope of work and the deliverables are timely and we can get feedback to this board. I'll take any questions on that.
Any questions, any commissioners? If not, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Vicki, items D, annual action plan, community development block grant, and home investment program.
Yes, so each year we've got to submit an annual action plan. We call that the AAP. And so what you have in front of you is the 2025 annual action plan that really talks about the programming within CDBG as well as the home program. These are the funds that we receive. We draw down through HUD to support the CDBG program, the resources, the staff that we've got on our staff, as well as the programming with our communities.
Any questions? If not, please vote.
Chair, we need a motion
You had
on
a
this.
motion.
Motion to recommend to full board.
Support.
Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Item E,
So item E and item F are subrecipient
Chair,
agreements.
I'll make the motion to refer to full board.
Support.
All right. The subrecipient agreement, the first one is for the city of East Point. Anytime that we've got an agreement that exceeds that $35,000, we do have to bring it to this board. This is for a sidewalk project in the city of East Point. And I can speak to F if you want me to speak to F as well.
yes.
Yep. F is very similar. It's a subrecipient agreement. This is for Shelby Township for some ADA sidewalk improvements.
So the motion should be to refer E and F to full board.
Correct.
motion to amend the motion. I'll make a motion to amend.
Amend the motion.
Commissioner Howard,
I'll support.
any other discussion? Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Now we go to item G, HIJKLMNOP. This is where it costs us a lot of money. Brian,
Motion to
motion?
refer to full
Commissioner
board.
Grant and
Support.
Going
Gordon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Starting with item 7G, this is a contract with Proline Asphalt Paving Corporation. It's for the rehabilitation of 18 Mile Road between Mound and Utica Road. Total cost of $2,749,342.96. This is a local agency project, so it's a 50-50 split between us and Sterling Heights. Item H is a contract, Michigan Department of Transportation, for the rehabilitation of Rapp Road over the Fisher Lake Outlet Project. Total cost of $807,320. This is a federally funded project at 80-20. So 80% federal funds, 20% to McDore as a cost. Item 7I is a contract with Proline Asphalt Paving Corporation. This is for our 2025 subdivision reconstruction program. Amount is $3,644,774. This is a 50-50 split. This is our annual program that we do with the townships to repair and replace subdivision roads within their communities. This is a 50-50 split. Item J is actually the cost share agreement with Shelby Township for the subdivision reconstruction program for Vanker Avenue in the amount of $1,191,898. Item K is once again a cost share agreement with Shelby Township subdivision reconstruction program for Dartmoor. Amount of total cost $1,037,526. Item L, this is with Shelby Township once again. Cost share agreement, subdivision reconstruction program for Kingsway Drive in the total amount of $994,303. Clinton Township cost share agreement, item 7M, subdivision reconstruction program for McKinsey Street, total cost of $944,849. Item 7N with Washington Township, this is a cost share agreement pertaining to our subdivision reconstruction program for Copperwood Commons subdivision, total amount of $812,998. Item 7O is a cost share agreement with the City of Richmond for overlay and repairs to 32 Mile Road from CN Railroad crossing to the county line border. Total cost of $681,256. This is part of our rural funding that we get. We were looking at this section for a overlay program, and the city was looking at this for funding that they had also. So total cost is $681,256. However, with funding mechanisms through the city, we're able to reduce our overall cost because of some of the credits in dollars that they were able to secure as a city. So looking at that as a cost share agreement. And the last one was struck. There were some adjustments that were needed to be made to the cost share agreement when it came to the right-of-way acquisitions for that project. So I'll entertain any questions on those items.
Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Brian.
How you doing?
That 3.6 number, that encompasses all of the below projects that you just mentioned, correct?
It does in a construction capacity. So you're looking at the difference. So
looking at
the
the
below
difference
numbers
in the
don't
numbers.
add up to a lot more than what the
That's
the
what I'm-
contract is just for the construction only. So there's the PE, CE, and admin costs above and beyond that, and that's the cost shares represent more of a dollar value than the actual construction cost to Proline.
Got it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Very
Mr.
welcome.
Chair.
Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, Brian.
How you doing, Commissioner? Chairman?
Item O, the 32 Mile Road project.
Mhm.
I noticed that that one's in 2026. Why are we looking for $2026 when we're still in this year's budget? Is that something that we do typically?
It happens on occasion. We definitely have a full plate this year.
Okay.
And it's when they can get access sometimes to their funding also, as far as the dollars and the allocation of what year.
Okay.
So this is a cost share setting up that project for 2026 construction and locking that in so we don't lose the funding. We're kind of obligating it or securing it so that we can do it for 2026.
Okay.
So usually we do it the year of, but the program of it, obviously we have to program that suits our needs as far as construction schedules and number of projects also.
So they've already approved it at the local level?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Great.
correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
thank you. Sure.
Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Brian.
Hi,
Brian,
Brian.
excuse me, item N, the cost share agreement with Washington Township. I noticed all the rest of them have the county cost, but this is no cost to the county. Why is that?
We allow the communities that choose to do so, because the communities get economies of scale by attaching a project to our bidding process for our HMA program. The community dealt with this particular subdivision, and they had 100% buy-in by the community, the residents of that community. So they're paying for all of the funding for this, and they're getting the benefit of getting reduced pricing because we attach it to our program. So the higher the volume of work, the less unit price items there are. So they're paying 100% of this on their own community's behalf.
So why wouldn't you do that in all the subdivisions?
You gotta have the money.
We struggle enough with our 50-50 program where we put in 50 and try and get the other 50 that's required through Act 51 for heavy maintenance of local roads, which subdivisions are considered local roads. So we are required to get 50% if we're putting money in, which this one we're not. It's just the community had a desire and want to repave their roadway, and they put up the money for it.
So this is their personal want, so as
Yes.
long as the county wasn't involved, they're picking it up themselves.
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Goyke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarity, on these projects, for usually it's in-house engineering on that, is that added into the price or are they on the payroll? And this is just contractor prices that we're paying for the material and the labor from the outside contract on these bids?
Actually, our subdivision reconstruction program is set up in a fashion that the communities submit the projects to us for us to vet to make sure they meet our requirements and our contingencies or qualifications for funding. They do their own design through whatever firm they hire, but that cost is split 50-50. So we don't do the design in-house. That is done by the communities that present these projects to us, but we do share 50-50 up to $600,000 total cost. So we have a cutoff point as far as a high end.
So as part of your 50%, and that's what I'm saying, like your engineers that are out inspecting the job, doing compaction tests, are they part of that, their payroll is coming out of this program?
That is part of the 50-50, yes. That is part of the cost share. That's why
So that's included into it?
Yes.
Because all right, that's what I wanted the clarity
Yes.
for. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
One last question. Recently on TV, they've been talking about issues in the city of Warren. Does that affect us in any way potentially about the concrete?
Not as it pertains to our projects. We obviously have our own staff that are very passionate about making sure that we oversee the contractors to ensure that they build the roadways and repair the roadways per our standards and specifications. So we do our best to catch anything that the contractor, everybody's not perfect, but we try and catch those items that maybe contractor, maybe misses a step here or there. So we got boots on the ground on all of our projects to ensure that they are built up accordingly.
So that could be or maybe a potential liability for the contractor of what's going on in the city of Warren.
Correct. There's a lot that goes into, the construction, mixture of materials, they do it at a batch plant or such. Sometimes the, mixes get messed up as far as percentages or different types of aggregates. There's a lot to look out for when it comes to, building a roadway. But our staff, we have in-plant staff inspectors, we have testers of the material that comes out, and we have on-site field inspectors in addition to that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
No other questions? Please vote.
Commissioner Wallace, the system didn't record your vote. If you'd want a voice vote. Thank you. Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Commissioners. Take care.
Thank you. Item number 8, this is A, B, and C, 2 public hearings, and C, a Macomb work zone. Entertain a motion to refer to full board.
So moved.
Support.
Cito and Howard. No questions, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
At this time, I'd like to turn this meeting over to Commissioner Romano.
About time. This is the Records and Public Safety Committee. It's department recommendations. Item A is intergovernmental contract with the state of Michigan. It's for the lease of county property juvenile justice center in the amount of $56,485.73. This is paid monthly to the county. I have Mr. McKinnon here, who's our deputy county executive. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
So move.
Support, Center.
I have a recommendation by Commissioner Hawes, supported by Commissioner Zinner, and we have Mr. McKinnon, our deputy county executive. Mr. McKinnon.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Romano, Chair Romano. Andy McKinnon, County Executive's Office. Before you, you have our contract with the state of Michigan, our proposed contract with the state of Michigan for leasing the Juvenile Justice Center. I had spoken to staff about a week and a half ago saying that there were some very minor tweaks that we wanted from the state. It took the state a long time to get back to us
Excuse
on
me,
that.
Andrew, would you speak into the microphone or pull it up to you or tilt it towards you?
Thank
There
you,
go.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
I had asked the state for several small changes that I thought were important to me, but the state took their time on those. So you did get a revised copy today. That revised copy had highlights of what was revised, along with some verbiage from myself on something that was taken out. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And April 27th, 1978. Is that what we talk about when I come up here? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see no questions. I have a motion in support. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Mr. McKinnon.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Excuse me. Item B is a budget amendment for the opioid settlement funds in the amount of $75,000. We have Ms. Caskey, who's our Director of Community Corrections. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Motion to move to full board.
I've got support, a motion by Commissioner Hall, supported by Commissioner Howard. And we have Ms. Caskey, please.
Good afternoon. We're here to request to transfer $75,000 in opioid settlement funds to Community Mental Health Macomb to continue live rights programs for youth recovery and pro-social activities for the remainder of 2025. CMH did receive a stop work order for some of the programs funded through ARPA dollars, and these two programs are two of those programs. These are live rights programs, again, that host pro-social activities directed towards youth that are at risk for substance use, and also implementing youth-specific recovery services such as 12-step programming, open talks, teen and recovery meetings, et cetera. Valuable service that is not offered anywhere else in Macomb County, so we are very interested in continuing that and hope to continue that with the opioid settlement budget in 2026 as well. And Tracy is here if there's any other additional questions specific to CMH.
We do have some questions, if we may. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. My guess is our CMH chairman supports this initiative.
Is that a yes?
That was a yes. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. I also have Commissioner Howard, please.
Yeah, I literally today I was talking to a parent, just checking in with them, and they spoke directly towards how Live Right program shifted their child's trajectory in their life in regards to some of the programming and stuff that they do at Live Right. And so I just appreciate what Live Right has done across the county, but particularly in my own backyard. So I fully support this. It's a great program.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, I just want to note that this is exactly what these funds are supposed to be used for. And
Exactly.
I'm very grateful and appreciative
Yes.
that this is what those dollars are going towards. I want to thank you both. So, Commissioner Hall, yes, I am extremely supportive of it. And I also want to thank our CMH CEO for being here present, because in a few hours we have the biggest event of the year. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I do also want to add that Tracy and I plan on submitting a presentation to talk about the additional opioid settlement programs that we are providing in Macomb County, as well as the continuum of services for substance use and mental health in the June meeting.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, do you have any idea how much is left in the opioid fund?
Yes, there's, because there are, and I don't have that exact in front of me, but I believe there's about $8 million.
Okay.
And what that happens with that is we receive some of those upfront, and then there's some that come in annually. And some are done, we won't receive any more deposits from them, and some are ongoing.
Okay. In the future, I'd like to see the balance after the withdrawals.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. I see no other speakers. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gansky. Okay, item C is a purchase. It's the Cardinal Group 2. It's behavioral health emergency partnership training in the amount of $141,792. And we have Captain Doherty here to present it, and I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Support Perna.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Perna, supported by Commissioner Hall. Cap, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Board. In 2024, MCOLS introduced a CPE training pilot program for law enforcement. MCOLS provided funds for each officer to complete mandated required trainings. If any sworn officer failed to complete these trainings, they could deactivate their licensing. In 2025, the CPE emphasis was on mental health crisis training. We searched for content experts and discovered the Cardinal Group. They are the only organization that provides behavioral health emergency partnership training. The Cardinal Group partnered with Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and MCOLS to create a specialized curriculum. The training would provide 2 days in-person training for each deputy for 168 of our deputies, and there will be 7 different sessions for deputies to attend. This training will provide essential crisis response training and interactions with individuals in crises who are experiencing serious mental illness. The funds are available in our CPE budget that was provided by MCOLS, no cost to the county. We're going to ask that you approve this Sheriff's Office to hire the Cardinal Group to train Sheriff's Office deputies and then satisfy the MCOLS mandated training for requirement for 2025. And I'll answer any questions.
And it sounds like a great program, and I see no speakers, so please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Item D is also a contract with Macomb County Bar Association CLE Training Agreement, $185,000. We have Public Defender, Mr. Tomko here. What's the CLE training?
Continuing legal education.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Continuing legal education.
Thank you, sir. I need a motion to move this to full board, please.
So moved. Support.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Wallace, supported by Commissioner Howard. Please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
This is a request for approval of an annual contract. This contract is for $185,000, and what it does is it provides training for attorneys who handle indigent defense representation. The number of attorneys, approximately 250 attorneys throughout the county. It's required for them to practice in the indigent defense field, and it's 100% grant funded.
I like grants. Let me just see what we have here. I see no speakers. Please vote.
No. There are speakers.
Somebody jump up.
To Chairman.
Chair Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Tom. This contract was signed in September of last year. Why is it being brought to us now?
It comes up every year, and around September through the end of the year is typically when it's brought up. This year was a little unusual. The executive director of the Macomb County Bar had left and they had to replace that person. They didn't replace him until February. Through that turmoil, again, it was something that we had. We waited, and then it sat for a little while, so it was part our fault too, as far as delaying and getting it presented.
So have we received services from them since October of last year?
Yeah, we have a good relationship with them, and we're still receiving the services. We talked to them about that, and it's still continuing.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Van Sickle?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. So if I understood what you said earlier correctly, these attorneys are not county employees or part of the county organization. There are various attorneys across the county who have an obligation to work in this indigent program.
It's a combination. We have 20 attorneys in the office, and that would cover their training as well as outside attorneys in the county. Each of those attorneys, when they seek to get court-appointed work, they have to meet certain qualifications as far as experience goes, but also they have a continuing every year, a continuing requirement to stay on top of things and to also complete those 12 CLEs. And so this allows them to practice in the county. If you were in a different county, I suppose you could count someone else's, but this is strictly for our attorneys in Macomb County. And so it's a combination, again, 20 attorneys in our office, the remaining 230 are private attorneys who take criminal assignments.
Is it standard practice for the county, various counties in the state to train people who are in private business?
What this is governed by, and the grant money comes from and through LARA, but it's through the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission. Throughout the state of Michigan, all attorneys, any attorney who takes indigent defense work must complete by statute and by requirement set forth by Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, they have to complete those 12 CLEs. If they do not in a calendar year, they're immediately taken off the list and they can no longer take indigent appointments.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Goyke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for coming up here. It just, this is kind of going on the same thing as Mr. Van Sickle here. I come from the business world, and everybody has to have licenses, and you have to have continuous education credits in order to renew that. And in no cases that I'm aware of that the government pays for you to keep getting that training. I would, for the 20 that are working out of your department, you work for that company, I can understand it. But for private individuals, no matter what, it's training. And I guess maybe I'm barking at the wrong tree. Maybe that's something I should look at legislatively because I think they should be paying for their own training.
Well, the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, they set forth standards, and those standards are levels of different things that have to do with representation. And the goal was to improve that representation. So what they said is, look at these attorneys that take indigent defense. First of all, it's indigent, and they're funding the defense, but why should they reach into their own pocket, pay for that training, and then only then can they get cases to earn money to represent them. So because it's their requirement, it's their system that they set up. And they said, look, it's unfair to force them to pay. We're going to pay for it. They went to the legislature, they got the grant money, and that's the process we work under.
Yeah, well, it's the fox in the hen house. There we go. Because it's like the state requires everybody, even down to pumping septic tanks. You got to have 30 years or 30 hours every year, and you pay for all that training yourself because of what the law is required. My building license that I have to have, and his real estate license, everything, and it just doesn't, because it does advance you, and there's.
And different things they do not pay for, like the attorney's licensing every year, they do not pay for that.
Okay.
But they considered the training important, and that was one of the things that was needed to improve that level of representation. So again, wasn't my decision, but that's exactly what they did, and that's the process we work under.
Yeah. Well, forgive me. I don't want to trip over dollars to save pennies either, but it's just something that I should make aware of to my state senator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. In probably defense of Mr. Tomko here, the attorneys that do the indigent, the fees that they're not making any money. I guess that's a nice way to say it. They're not making the fees that they could probably make in other circumstances, because I think that's set ahead of time. So taking into consideration that it is a grant program. I see no other speakers. I have a motion and support, so please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Mr. Tomko.
And thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Item E is a resolution 2025-13-373. It's a resolution to acknowledge and affirm the collection of the monthly E911 surcharge, the 911 surcharge of 0.42 cents per month per device as approved by voters in the November 5th, 2024 election. And we have the dispatch director, Ms. Elsie, here. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hall, supported by Commissioner Howard. Ms. Elsie, you're up.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Following a favorable vote of the continued collection of our local 42-cent surcharge, we are required to submit a resolution to the state 911 office that affirms and acknowledges that collection under the method of voter approval. Previously, we were collecting under commission enacted resolution. However, since that method of which we collect that surcharge has changed to voter approval, we are required to submit that to the state of Michigan. And passage of this resolution will fulfill that statutory requirement.
Commissioner Hall.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks for being here. Did I hear you say this is a state mandate that this resolution has to be passed?
That's correct, yes. So there are 3 ways in which a county can collect a local surcharge. One is commission enacted, which we had previously had implemented, voter approval, as well as a previous public act for urban areas that some counties are grandfathered into. Every year, today is actually the statutory deadline for the funding, and so every year we would have to submit that resolution that you had all previously passed to say, well, we are going to continue to collect this in this amount for this period of time. This year, I had to submit a certified ballot vote from the Department of Elections, and then they also will require a signed resolution, just affirming that. So.
Well, I'd love to repeat what Commissioner Goyke said about dollars for pennies or tripping over it.
Yeah.
Once the voters approved the 42 cents, did they think it was going to fall from heaven?
No. So I believe why the state probably requires this is because technically the Board of Commissioners is the ultimate governing authority over 911 in the county by statute. And so that's why we have that local 911 service plan that we're required to have, and that has to include for any fiscal considerations, operational considerations. And so the fiscal consideration here is that we are collecting under voter approval, but that's part of the county 911 service plan that falls under your purview. So I think that's kind of why there's that duplicate acknowledgement of collection.
Okay, and just for clarification, we're not debating whether or not the 42 cents should be collected. That was decided by the voters.
Correct.
We're
Yes.
following a state requirement on how it's going to be collected, correct?
Correct. Yep. All it says is that we are continuing our collection, but it's transitioned to the means of by voter approval, no change in the amount at the rate of 42 cents per device. And the collection period is July 1 of 2025 through June 30th of 2029.
2020 what?
9, which is what was on the ballot.
So we don't have to debate this again, so thank
We
you
don't
for
have to
that.
debate that. Thank you for that.
That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. You made it very clear I made it very clear to me too. I have another, we got a couple of speakers. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was Commissioner Hawes' way of telling me I need to vote yes this time. I know that's what he was doing.
I didn't use any.
I picked up on the hints. Angie, did you say we have to do this resolution annually? So this is going to haunt me every year?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes,
Okay.
we will have to do it annually. Yes.
So thank you for answering. My questions were more about the technicality piece of it. Obviously, the voters approved it, and this is just a technical piece. When you were mentioning the collection of the dollars, and you mentioned that today was, you said something about today being a deadline?
Today is the statutory deadline to report our annual funding expenditures and revenue. And so we've already done that. I'll never miss that deadline.
So that's what I was wondering, if this
Yeah,
resolution
and I had
needed
to
be
submit the
done.
certified ballot approval as
Okay.
well with that, but, so.
I just wanted to make sure that.
This is
because-
supplementary.
Because full board is next week. I
Yes.
didn't know if you needed it today
No.
for full board approval. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. So we don't have to worry about doing this, we'll have to do this every year. But for the voters have already approved it, hence for that time, this time period for till 29.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
I see no other speakers. We have a motion and a support. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Ms. Caskey. You're out of uniform.
Thank you, Commissioner Kraft.
I am,
That is our uniform today.
yes.
All set.
Yeah.
Okay, she's got another one in here, which is purchase Washington Township Fire Department vehicle hardware refresh, $60,600. I need a motion for this also to recommend to full board.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Gorky, supported by Commissioner Zinner. Ms. Caskey, you're up again. Ms. Elsie, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Big fan of Barb, so I'm okay with it. This item is just a request to purchase updated hardware for Macomb, I'm sorry, not Macomb, for Washington Township's emergency vehicles within their fire department. Under our dispatch services agreement, we provide for the initial hardware, software, ongoing licenses for all of the equipment used to communicate with dispatch. And so part of that agreement is to refresh that hardware as well on a certain schedule. This has already been approved through Washington Township. The fire chief is eager to cut us a purchase order and move forward with this. This really is a dollar neutral item for the county. We purchase the hardware up front. Washington Township reimburses us 100%, which is all written into our intergovernmental agreement with them for dispatch services. So.
Okay, we have Commissioner Hall with a question, please.
Thank you, Chair. Did you say intergovernmental agreement to upgrade dispatch equipment?
No,
I'm glad I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, we have a intergovernmental agreement for regional dispatch services with Washington Township to provide full-time dispatch services for their fire department. One of the provisions within that contract is hardware and software, and we procure that initial hardware, and then they reimburse us 100%.
And they're going to refund the full amount back
Correct.
to you?
Yes.
Is this applicable to all local municipality fire departments?
All of
And
the
do
fire
they
departments
use
that
it?
we have service contracts with,
They
yes.
all use it?
Yes, because our IT department services them, and so they need to make sure that there's some control there, so there's not these external unknown variables that might contribute to issues or connectivity errors. And so part of our model with these communities is that if you want us to full-time dispatch for you, there's certain requirements that you have to meet, right? If you want this in-vehicle computer, it must be this model to be compatible with this software and this connectivity and this functionality. So, yes.
Okay, you said dispatch again. What I'm reading here is engines, replacement, mounting on vehicles, so it's much more than dispatch.
Correct. There's nothing being upgraded to dispatch. This is part of our dispatch services agreement that we have with the fire departments, that we
The
will
intergovernmental
procure
agreement.
and replace their equipment because it must be compatible with ours.
So if I go back to my fire chief in Roseville, I can ask him, is he using this intergovernmental agreement?
No, because we do not dispatch for Roseville Fire. Sarisa does.
We're dispatching again.
Correct. So if we have a full-time dispatch agreement, right, a contract with the fire department that we provide dispatch services for, meaning that we take those 911 calls and one of our dispatchers is going to alert that fire station that a Washington Township engine is needed to respond to an address for a medical emergency or for a fire emergency. That is the contract that we have with them, right? So that we're your dispatch center. So part of that contract is that here's the software that we use in dispatch, and it must talk to you, right? The fire department. And so to do that, you have to have certain equipment and you must have certain software and certain versions. And we must make sure that you're maintaining that maintenance and that version upgrades and firewalls and all of those things. So we procure their hardware for them and then they reimburse us.
Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
all I have, Chair.
Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. I don't see any other speakers. We have a motion and support. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Item G is a budget amendment, prosecuting attorney 2025 PAAM safe storage. You're going to tell us what that means. Initiative grant for $52,800. We have Mr. Biondo, who's Chief of Special Prosecutions. I need a motion to recommend this to full board, please.
Motion to move to full board.
Commissioner Howard, supported by Commissioner Lucido. Mr. Biondo, what is that PAAM?
Yes,
Why
sir.
does everybody use acronyms? Why can't they put out that word and spell it out? Go ahead.
It's a fair point, and
I'm sorry, what is it?
It's a fair point. It stands for the Prosecuting Attorneys Association of Michigan, PAAM. We refer to it as PAM in the office, just for the board's reference.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So we are asking for the board's support today for a motion to approve a fiscal year 2024-5 budget amendment for the Prosecuting Attorney Grants Fund in the amount of $52,800 by increasing intergovernmental revenue, and likewise with a corresponding increase to contract services in order to utilize a new grant that we received from PAM, or the Prosecuting Attorneys Association of Michigan, for community outreach and public education efforts on safe firearm storage to prevent youth gun violence and youth suicide. This is something that back in February, we worked with this board, a number of school districts, to organize letters of support with our grant application to PAM that we submitted on February 28th. We received support from the number of school districts, including Richmond Community Schools, Chippewa Valley Schools, Centerline Public Schools, Anchor-based School District, Van Dyke Public Schools, Utica Community Schools, and also a youth suicide prevention nonprofit, No Resolve, was also supportive of this. And so we submitted the application on February 28th. On April 1st, we received notice from PAM that we were going to be getting the grant award. We got the final paperwork on April 15th. On April 16th, we submitted it to contract routing review. It was ultimately signed by the exec's office on April 21st. On April 25th, we submitted this agenda item. And this is a zero cost to the general fund. No county match is required. The line items that we're putting the money in is per the proposed budget that was approved by the grant authority. And I specified in the detailed description in the BOC recommendation sheet what each piece of that money is for. And finally, all I wanted to say is this is similar to what we did last year. In fact, I went back and looked. I came before the board in August of 2024, where we came before the board for the first time with Telethon Hall contracts. Now, that's sort of related to this budget, but I'll get into that in the next agenda item. But fundamentally here, the main thing is this is a reimbursement grant. The $52,800 that we're going to be putting to work, we're going to get reimbursed 100% of that with no county match. And so I'm happy to answer any questions on this piece of the budget amendment piece.
Thank you, Mr. Biondo. Commissioner Howard.
Fully support this. I'm a gun owner myself, and I've been practicing safe storage ever since I bought my first firearm at 18 years old. When I was looking at this is essentially the grant is just for marketing, correct?
Correct. Contract services, marketing, and promotion is the specific line item in Workday.
Okay, are we doing anything else? I know me and some other local leaders, we're actually giving away 600 gun locks in the month of June throughout the county. Are we doing anything alongside of this grant to do anything with that? So we're telling people to practice safe storage, but are we assisting them in doing that Because as you know, we just had another student with a firearm inside of a school in my district.
Yeah, I recall you calling and reaching out to us about this item. We are interested in working with you on that front and the board in general on this effort. I will say that one of the things we want to do after today, and obviously after the budget amendment is finalized at the full board meeting a week from today, is set up a meeting where we're going to reach out to the chairman and whoever else he would direct from the Board of Commissioners that would want to be involved in sitting down with a couple of us from the prosecutor's office to flesh out what the marketing plan is going to be. And this is envisioned for the fall time period. So sometime like September, October, August kind of time frame. And so that's something that we like to pursue in a meeting after this gets finalized, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, to say these are sort of the guideposts on what we want to do, and we'd love to have that be part of that conversation. The gun lock giveaway events, if I can use that phrase for that.
Sure. Thank you so much. I know this is something that's not unusual for other counties to do. Oakland County has been doing this over the course of the summer, and every time there's a new update to the law, they rent billboards to advocate and communicate to their residents. And so this is something that's been going around across the state. So I'm so glad that Macomb's doing it now.
Thank you, Commissioner. We are as well. And we appreciate everyone's support in the grant application process.
All set, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Van Sickle, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
PAAM sounds like a trade organization?
So that's the State Professional Association. All prosecuting attorneys' offices in Michigan, I believe, are members, and we're all members of that organization.
Right, so that's a private organization?
Well, it's
Is it a government fund? Is it a government organization?
technically, it's not. It's like a trade organization for county prosecutors in their offices.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what it sounded like. Where do they get their money?
So we pay dues along with every other, I believe, county prosecutor's office in the state. We all pay dues to PAM, and I can provide you that information. It's been always a part of our budget. In addition to the dues we pay to the State Bar of Michigan, the PAM dues is another piece that we pay.
Because I'm assuming if we're getting a grant from them, that other counties are also getting grants.
That's correct. I believe all counties applied. I can't give a statement as to how many of the other counties received it, but I provided the grant application because I thought there was a lot of interesting data in there. As you saw, we requested, I think, 75,000, and we got 52.8, which is, a win's a win because this is all extra money compared to the general fund.
So when our prosecutor's office is a member of PAAM, does the county pay that membership?
Yes, the county.
I'm okay with that. I'm
Yes.
just curious.
Yes, the county does. PAM also puts on trainings at discounted rates to our members, and so that's one of the benefits of being a member.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Don't leave, Mr. Biondo. We have a motion in support. No other speakers. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay. Item H is an agreement Combat Data, Inc., Teletown Hall Services, $91,797.50. Again, we have Mr. Biondo, who's Chief of Special Prosecutions. I need a motion to recommend this to full board, please.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wallace, supported by Commissioner Kraft. Mr. Biondo.
Thank you again, sir. We are asking the board's support today for a motion to approve the agreement with Combat Data, Inc. to provide teletown hall services basically through the end of the year. We intend to exercise 5 teletown halls under this contract. Not a single penny from the general fund is going towards this contract. We specifically structured this like we did it last year, where it's coming from either forfeiture money or grant money, and $0 from the general fund. And so unlike last year, where I presented the teletown hall contracts, and I indicated that we would put it out to bid. This year, we actually were able to go through the bid process with the purchasing department for this contract. We had 2 bidders on this. I provided the bid tab, and if you reference the bid tab, the per event base price of the winning bidder is $18,359 compared to the losing bidder, which was an additional $2,700 and change on top of that per event, which would have been an extra $13,000 or $14,000 if we would have went with the out-of-state losing bidder. And so the main takeaway of this contract is, in terms of the bid process, we wanted bidders to bid on the ability to dial out to 300,000 people, and we wanted to retain, at least for some period of time, half of that, or 150,000 of them. And so those were the rough numbers that went into the RFP that we put out. And so we got the winning bidder here for your approval. I have a detailed description of how we're pulling money from the various grants, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on that, but since it's all there, I'll defer to the board on that. And then that's really all I had to say. The idea here is like last year, we want to be able to improve the intake pipeline on various cases. So we're going to be doing 2 again with cooperative reimbursement or child support collections with Kim Shinneman. She was able to talk to her grant, and they're going to cover 2 of these grants in full. The budget amendment you just approved had a $10,000 piece that we're putting towards one of these teletown hall events. So we're going to have a safe storage, gun safe storage telehall event. We're going to do 1 senior scams prevention event, possibly 2. The 5th town hall, we're still determining what the program might be depending on what we see as an uptick in cases over the next couple of months. Again, these teletown halls are intended for the fall time period, and we bid it out, and this is the winning bidder. And so I'm happy to answer any questions at this point on the new vendor here, which is a reason why we don't have any vendor transaction history. But of course, through the bid process, we have the vendor disclosure form, all the required forms for the bids, and the W-9.
Thank you. We have some questions here. We have Commissioner Kraft, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Biondo, thank you. Thank you for going through that whole bid process and showing us your work as you went along. We appreciate that. My question is just about metrics from last year. Is there a way, not now, but could you share with us, the number of folks you reached out to, the number that stayed on the call for, 1 minute, 5 minutes, all that stuff? If you have any of that, could you share some of that with us just so we know kind of bang for our buck sort of thing?
Yes, in fact, I'd be happy to send that over to you. And one of the things we want to do, because this is technically a new vendor, is compare last year's performance with this year's performance. And we'd love to examine that data together with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
See no other speakers? Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Mr. Biondo.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Next item is item I. I think we're going to take item I, J, and K together. First item is a budget amendment, emergency management and communication school safety grant, which is New Haven and Richmond Community Schools for $8,000. Item J is an intergovernmental agreement, Richmond Community Schools, risk and vulnerability assessments not to exceed $6,000. And K is intergovernmental agreement, New Haven Community Schools, risk and vulnerability assessment not to exceed $2,000. And I is contract property insight manual. Then no, that's not yours. I'm sorry, just those.
Yeah, you can.
Mr. Lewis, I need a motion to move this to full board, please.
Motion to move IJK to full board.
Support.
Okay, so we're approving 10I to 10K, is that correct?
Yeah.
And who made the motion? Commissioner Van Sickle, and who supported? Commissioner Grote. Okay, we have a motion to support. Brandon, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am here today seeking approval of an agreement with Richmond Schools for our office to conduct 3 risk assessments on facilities in their district, an agreement with New Haven Schools to conduct an assessment on 1 facility in their district, and the budget amendment to recognize the revenue from those assessments and to budget for the expenditures necessary to conduct those assessments. These are second passes for both of these districts. We've already performed assessments in both of these districts before, and we're returning to do additional assessments for them at this time.
Don't stop now, you're on a roll. Go. You're on J and K.
I'm good. That was it for me.
That's for all 3.
That was for all 3. The 2 agreements and the budget amendment.
Rush your heart. Mr. Commissioner Van Sickle, please.
Thank you. This is a second pass. Is that because of items you found in the first pass?
It is not. It's for additional facilities.
Okay,
So in the first pass, we did schools themselves. Now we're doing support facilities, administration buildings, athletic fields, things like that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have a motion in support and no other questions. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you,
Thanks,
commissioners.
Okay, now we have the man coming up. Item I is a contract, Property Insight. I don't think he wants to come up. Manual indexing for $198,283. We have the pleasure of, we have Mr. Forlini, who is the Macomb County Clerk. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Chair, it's item L, not I.
Is that a motion to recommend?
Sure, yes.
Support.
I have a recommendation by Commissioner Van Sickle and support by Commissioner
Howard.
I'll take Lucido.
Looks that way.
Mr. Clerk?
Good evening, Board.
Not a lot of light, but okay.
You kept the longest presentation for the end. I like that.
The best one.
You didn't hear it. Okay. Anyhow, I'm here just to really bring you up to date with this property spine that we've been working on for the last 2 years, and there's a few board members here that weren't around 2 years ago when we started off on this. Let me start off with this.
Jeez.
I just got back from a conference in San Antonio, where it was an educational conference, and they recognized groups across the country that excelled in certain areas. And we were pleasantly surprised. Our office was actually selected for 2 national awards for the work that we're doing in the clerk's office, which was, 7,000 people were there. And it's pretty cool that we were one of a few communities that got recognized for our jury room management and how we operate that, and vital records and register of deeds and operational efficiencies. We went, both departments have done incredibly well on the vital records side. During COVID, we were told that as soon as we open up, there's going to be all kinds of people waiting in line. It's going to be chaos. And we changed a few of the operations, changed the software, cross-trained people, got ready for them that when we opened the doors after COVID, we virtually have no lines. If there's 10 people in our lobby, I start shaking like, all right, let's start pulling people up. Let's get these people going. And it's been recognized by the public. We have these cards we put out there for comments, and I'll bet you we have well over 4,000 comments, and 4 of them so far have been negative. And kind of in an odd way, they weren't always so negative because they were people that wanted to do work with us. They couldn't because they're from Wayne County, and they wanted to do it with us because there's no lines here, but they couldn't, so they were mad. So anyhow, it was nice. So we're the only county, though, in the entire country to have received 2 awards. So, and it was for the same departments. So very proud of that. Just want to let you guys know. I saw Candace here earlier. She had some. So I think we got a great team here in Macomb. We should all be very proud. Let me go back to why I'm talking. Had to throw that in. I thought they were going to throw that in at the end. So that was 2 years ago. So we started this project of trying to combine information in the Register of Deeds department where you can only do property searches based on name. I know a lot of you know this, but some of the newer board members may not know that. And so if you come to our office, you have to do a search by name. And Wayne County didn't operate that way. Oakland County, I don't believe, works that way. We were so far behind. And Carmela Sabal, to her credit, tried to get this updated, and it was taking forever. And it would have taken, I think it was an ungodly amount of time, 70 years to, at that pace, to update all the records so that you can cross-search it, and about $15 million. Well, my deputy register of deeds came up with this concept. She thought, wait a minute, why can't we try to pull all this information into one place and cross-reference them so that if you look up one thing, you got the rest of the information. And so 2 years ago, we started that, and we hired a firm by the name of Property Insight for about $500,000 to
set up the spine to pull everything together, and they did. It was successful. And they saw that they were able to bring all these together. 9 million records in that were combined, were put together, of 9.2 million. So that was pretty successful, but we still had 250,000 that had to be done manually. We came back to the board in 2024, 134,000 you all appropriated, and this all came out of our tech fund, and those are finished. Those were pulled in. So just as an update to the board now, we have the 198,000 that's left in the budget that was already approved to update some of the more difficult properties that you couldn't quite read, properties along the lake that are private claims properties that are handled a little bit differently, things that the computer just couldn't put together. So that is ready to go, and they're working on this, and it's moving forward. We also found that in the 1960s, something different happened with how they were recording deeds, something different where it just didn't match up properly. So that's part of it. We're looking at correcting those records and possibly coming back to the board to rescan those documents, because it seems like 1 out of 4 or so, we're looking at that right now, were not scanned properly. And there's a whole bunch of them like that. And we're going to determine if it's worthwhile to even bother with this, or if we're able to find it different ways. We'll come back to if we need that. So I just want to let you know, this was kind of a crazy, not artificial intelligence, because we're using real intelligence on this. And we're just about done with this whole project, which is a huge cost savings. Probably, if we had to finish this, it would have taken many years doing it the traditional way, and about $15 million. And we're getting it all done for under $1 million. So it was a good project. So far, it's very successful. This last bit will really clean things up, and something I think we'll all be proud of in the end. So that's all I had on that. There's really
We have
not a...
commissioners that want to speak. Commissioner Koike, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And how come you didn't stop your sister from writing them 4 bad cards?
And doing what?
Your sister.
Writing what?
The 4 bad comments on your door. I want to give you
my sister.
I want to give you accolades on everything in those 2 awards. So at this time, thank you very, very much, Tony.
Appreciate it, Ken.
Any other commissioners? I don't see any. We have a motion and support. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Is your next presentation going to be as long?
No.
Okay, let's go. I'm just kidding. Mr. Ferlini, you take as much time as you need. You were patient enough to wait as the last one, so we appreciate that. Let's go to budget amendment, register of deeds, remonumentation grants, decrease actual amount, received $58,149. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion for M through U.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Kraft and supported by
Lisa.
by Ms. Woino for items 10M through 10U. That's a whole lot. Berlini, listen, before I forget, I wanted to thank Mr. Burdick for you receiving those 2 awards. I'm sure he did a lot in the background there that you didn't acknowledge. So, Brian, we appreciate it. I'm sorry, Mr. Ferlini.
He keeps reminding me he's got a 5:30 tennis appointment, and I think he's going to make it now. So
You better get him there. Go ahead.
no,
Mr. Ferlini.
listen, and I said this earlier. I mean, I got a great team. I mean, first class. None of this would have happened without them. So
Would you run through those for us if you would, one at a time, please?
Well, here's what you have in front of you. This is the annual approval of the remonumentation we've been going through for many, many years. And the last 3 years, from 2023 through today, that we're now in maintenance phase, and we're just maintaining it. Sometimes it's road projects, construction projects, these monuments that were put in there get destroyed or moved. And so our surveyors are out there doing it, and all these contracts are their portion of it. The amount of $114,000 is total grant money from the state of Michigan. So this is, to me, a very positive thing that we've done in the county. We're one of a few counties that actually got it done in a very timely fashion, and we're just in maintenance phase. And I don't know. And I got Catherine Dedecker here from Spalding Dedecker, who heads that right now. I don't know if you'd like her to come up and speak. She has about a half-hour presentation that she'd like to give. She doesn't.
Not if you want a yes vote.
No, this is basically just approving the grant money to keep doing what we've been doing for many, many years.
Commissioners, anybody? Seeing no speakers, I have a motion and support. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, clerk. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate all you.
Thank you for the
Thanks.
presentation.
Congrats on your
Congratulations. on the
Yeah,
awards.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, public participation is item number 11. This is 3 minutes maximum per speaker. This is the opportunity for public participation with those who wish to speak. Anybody in the audience who wishes to speak under public participation? I see and hear none. I'm going to close public participation. I'm going to move it to commissioners' comments. Any commissioners who would like to speak? Don't be bashful. Speak now or forever. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to bring attention to everybody on the board here. When Candace was talking about all that technology, Kyle was her first legal pilot. He was using drones for that department, through the department, all of the drains so that Tony could get them done, I could get them done. And it's like, he's the drain master. He's the guy, he needs a hat, just like Candace got, so.
We'll get
Thank you,
Kyle a hat.
Commissioner. Any other commissioners wishing to speak? Any other commissioners wishing to speak?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hall, supported by Commissioner Howard. Please vote.